we will continue the exercise that we started last time. We will have a few more things to learn from the same model. Um, and Let me also see what I can do to get that. Okay. So last time, if you guys remember, should I ask you if you guys remember anything from the last session?
It was a Excel dashboard about the financial structure.
Huh.
So you showed us about the formulas based. So when you change a particular company, that it automatically leads to that company in the graph changes. Somewhat like.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anything else you guys remember?
When you are on mute.
Sorry. Okay.
So also we discussed about VLOOKUP concepts. So how to change the so VBA code related to the how customer name and this they are changing related to the.
It was good. That's good. Yeah. So basically the drop down, right? So when you change the drop down, how do you get the rate card aligned, etc. Some code related to that. So we had seen that. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So let me first give you guys a little bit. I think this is something that you guys saw already, but I'm going to still show you because I think it is still relevant and hopefully funny. Okay. Okay. I think it's a recap of the last times. You guys take a look and we'll continue. You guys are able to see the whole comic,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's get going. So I will give you a quick recap of what we did last time, and then we will go ahead with the rest. So basically, this is what we did last time. So essentially, we looked at this particular sheet, and in this, we talked about this drop down, like Shravan said. So you can sort of select this, and based on that, you are in a position to apply a specific rate card. It scrolls, and it also changes the basically the chart on the right hand side, right? So this is things that we have looked at. So apart from that, we also sort of looked at the navigation, the previous line, next line, the code related to that, and I also showed you how in the chart you can actually get this kind of a structure where you have all the months and a year, and this kind of a structure, how to add, we have seen that. In addition, we can also do a quarter just like the month. So apart from all this, we have also seen naming of cells, right? So we saw how to name cells and how to use them in the various formulas and what is the utility of that. So those are some of the things that we have done. So the navigation, etc., etc. Okay, so navigation with the name. So for example, you can just go ahead and click on something and you can go straight, right? You can also use Control G, right, for go to, right? You'll be able to do that. You can actually write the name. Okay, name is right here. You can actually write a name or something, and then you can go straight to that particular cell. In fact, by the way, go to, you can also do, let's say if I do, let's say AA5, for example, you can just click on that and it will take you straight there. Okay, so this is another sort of a tip on navigation. There is another way of navigating. So for example, if you have a cell number that you want to go to, for example, AB35, you can hit enter, you can go straight there. Okay, so we are now in AB35. Okay, so this will be very useful. Let's say if you have a very large spreadsheet, right, and you have to navigate, then this will become sort of very useful. So my apologies. Okay, so okay, yeah. So that is so far as all this, these are the various things that we have discussed last time. So let's look at some of the other concepts for today. So let's look at, so what I'm going to tell you is like, a bit scattered in terms of various aspects. So I'm just going to go one after the other. Okay. Okay. So let's continue the naming piece of it a little bit, because there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about in that, and then we will move to a few others, because we already sort of started with the naming thing, right? So let's go to formulas again, and I showed you guys, I think I did not show you the name manager last time. So if there are like many names, you can actually change these names or edit or delete them. Okay. So for example, you can sort of hit new, okay, and you can give it, I mean, it is self-explanatory actually, so, but let me just give you something. Let's say here we have, let's say we will call this table 5, for example, okay, so, so it refers to bulk naming, it says I12, so I can actually click on this and select a specific range, and it will identify that. And then click OK. So wherever you have this kind of a symbol, you'll be able to click on that and select a specific range. Okay, and then click OK. Now you got table 5. Okay, so okay, so okay, so this is so far as name manager is concerned. So you can, some of the other options, you can sort of initiate a new one, edit something, you can delete something, you can do all of that. It also says you can actually filter a few things and so on and so forth. Yep, that is so far as the name manager is concerned. Let me just go over, I think here is something interesting. Sorry, I'm getting a few calls. Just turn this off. Okay, let's look at, yeah, there are one or two things I think that are interesting here that I'll show you. See, you have an option to create from selection as well, and I'll tell you how to do this. So for example, let us say you have, see, this is the whole table, okay, and in this table, let's say you want to have, let's say, name 1, so because this is a row number, right, for these two, and this is for name 2 for these two, name 3 for these 3, and so on and so forth. So for example, just to give you another example, let's say you put in, Hyderabad, right, Pune, like this, for example. Okay, and let's say this one is, let's say, population, and let's say number of vehicles, something like that. If you have a table like this, and if you would like to create names against this, then you'll be able to do that. So for example, you can select all of this, you can click on create from selection, and it will give you options saying what would you, where are the names basically. Okay, top row, left column. So this top row is columns, and this one is all various rows. You can hit OK, and then all of these would have gotten created. So let me just show that to you right now. So for example, Bengaluru, if you see, right, it is 5 and 6, which is these two. Okay, so it will take a specific row number, and that specific row it will create as a row. Okay, so for example, let me show it to you. Let's say sum of Bengaluru. Okay, are you guys seeing that? Okay, so it has created. So similarly, you can also do some, let's say, population, right? So you can do, so that has gotten created. So if you have a large table, and if you want to create all of the various names, you'll be able to use this and create the names. Okay, so apart from this, there is one more that I would like to show you. So for example, let's say you have a large table, okay, or lots of calculations, and you had actually manually incorporated all of the formulas. Okay, so for example, now let's say I would say equals, okay, sum of, okay, all of these. Okay, it is actually now saying column 1, but actually let me just take this, let's say E4 all the way through E15. Okay, Sorry, there is one extra. Okay, yeah. So now we have the sum here. Okay, but let's assume for the moment that actually I have two different columns. Let me just delete column 1 very quickly. This will be useful. So column 1, I'm going to delete that because there are two names referring to the same range. Okay, so there you go. So now let's assume that I want to replace the references with names because I want to make it intelligible to people, right? I would like to replace the references with names. Okay, so Excel has an option for that. So for example, I'll just select this and in this you have something called apply names. Okay, and here, so because it is population, so let's say population here, you can actually select everything and then I click OK. What happens is it replaces the formula, and whatever was the reference to a specific range, it replaces that with the name. Okay, this is post facto, you can implement this. You got it, na? Otherwise, yes, what you have to do is you'll have to go into each of the cells and maybe do a replace or something like that you'll have to do. But this is a very easy way for us to do this. Yeah, okay. So there are some other options like use in formula, but these are very easy. You know, there's nothing much here. You can just, it's like equal to, it will just place that in the respective cell. That's all. You know, there's not much here for us to learn. So for example, you put name 10, it says equals name 10. You know, that's pretty much it so far as use in formula is concerned. But usually you would just type it in and it would bring it out and you can select it. That's an easy way to do it. Okay. Okay, so that is so far as names are concerned. Very interesting topic, actually, very useful, at least in my limited experience. Any questions on names?
Just one clarification, Chaitanya. In the last the use case that we saw where we changed the references from manual to the names, it will work for multiple names, right? If we in the selected range, if we have multiple ranges, all those names will be replaced.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say I'll just show it to you. E5 to E15, right? Okay, there you go. Okay, it's supposed to be 6 actually, but let me just do this. Okay, you have 1 here. You have, so I'm done this. Okay. Oh, sorry, it was 4, is it? Yeah, it's 4. Okay. Okay, so you have these 2. Then actually let's do the same thing here. So here it's called apply names actually. So there are 2 of these. It has actually auto selected some of these. I'll just click OK. Let us see what happens. Okay, apologies. There is something that happened there. Sorry, give me 1 second. So this has happened. I'm not sure why this has not happened, but let me. So this is actually number of vehicles. Oh, it's called column 2. I think this. Hold on a minute. Let me see. Vehicles, did it select or no? Okay, vehicles also it has selected, so it should not be a problem. I think there are 2 of them, right? That might have caused an issue. Let me just check that. I think there was an error. Let's check that error first. Apply name. So population. Okay, vehicles. So okay, I'll remove name 11 vehicles is here. So I can select that, and there is population. I'll get rid of name 11 and let's click OK. There you go. It has worked. Okay, so it has done it for both. So it can be a big spreadsheet and you can replace all of them at one go. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what if we have 2 same names? So, for example, we have 2 Hyderabad's. In that case,
I am not so sure what it does. So in fact, we do have those right now. But it seems to have used, so I have used vehicles. We can try it actually. So let me replace, let me just undo this one. I have done that. So let's do this. We will have, actually, yeah, you are talking about a different issue, but let's do that. So this one actually it is both seats, column and column, whatever, call underscore 2, as well as vehicle. So it has the same range refers to two different names. Okay. And so it is basically asking you which one to use. That's one good thing, but let's do both and we'll see what happens. Okay. So call to, all right, and vehicles. These are the two it has. Oops. So I think it's giving some error, but the references cannot be listed for trying. I think this could be one issue. So there is vehicles, but for some reason it's giving a circular reference. Okay, E17. E17. Why is E17 giving it? Okay, maybe the population. No, population is only just this. So give me 1 second. Let me just undo this. For some reason, the population is giving a circular reference. I don't know why it would do that, but that's what it's doing. But let's coming to the same problem that you talked about. Let's do this. Okay, so apply names. I will get rid of column 2 as well as vehicles, and let's see. Okay, it worked, and it has just used vehicles. It is possible that it first used call underscore 2, right, and then it probably replaced it with the second one, which is vehicles. That's a possibility. Okay, so but anyways, it worked and it gave you the result. So I think that's what you would need. If you don't want to use 2, then you might just want to use one reference. Yeah, I think let's move on. There is some ground to cover for us. All right. So I'm just going to cover a couple of other concepts, just a few other concepts, and that we will leave Shravan's favorite topic, VLOOKUP, to the next session. All right. All right. So I think we did look at the sort of the select categories. I think this is something that we have already done. Same concept. There's nothing new here. I'm just going to leave that there. Then let's look at this. So basically, so this is like I mentioned to you, this is a financial model, and so in a financial model, what people do is they model how things are going to happen in that particular company. Okay, and one of the key pieces is hiring plan. Okay, so this is for a very old one that we have done. So and if you look at this, so there are a few components here. See, what we are trying to get to the final output is something like this. So what are the various months, and how many people of each profile are we going to hire? When are we going to hire? Okay, and eventually it should also have the total, so how much is the salary per each profile, and what is the total cost of salaries, okay, which will in turn go into the financial statements. Okay, so this is the calculation that happens. So and what we are looking at right now is the hiring plan, and how many of each are being hired. Okay, so see, if you look at it, the nature of employment is that if you start on a so let's say if you hire someone, then that individual is going to stay on, right, until that person separates with that particular company, right? This is the nature of employment, correct? So so this is sort of trying to achieve that, and there are actually two things it's doing. One is, once you have hired an individual, you have to keep that person on until, let's say, the end of the model, maybe, because, you know, for example, there is an engineer 3, engineer 2, etc. So these people are being hired and they will stay on with the company. Okay, so how are we going to achieve this? It's not very complicated, but I think it's good to know how this thing works. Okay, so for example, so you put in a number, okay, and from there on you just say that is equal to the previous number, okay, whatever that number is, right? And it will go on until the end of the model. Okay, but if the hiring actually goes up, so you can actually see here, so engineer 2 category, so it started off with 1 and goes up to 2 and then 3 and so on and so forth. But at some point they might give a break and not hire individuals in that and then it'll go further until basically when it sort of stabilizes. So there's recruitment going on here, and then it stabilizes, and after that it goes on and so on and so forth. So what you can do here is, so for example, so you have like the same numbers here. Let's say you have hired one more person, you can hit 2 here, and that will sort of continue for the rest. Okay. So again, this is not really big, but this is the functionality that you derive out of very simple formulas. Okay, it is the modeling benefit that you generate out of this. But there is one more thing that you can see here, that there is a difference in color between some numbers. So you can also see that whenever there is an increment, okay, in hiring, then that number is getting highlighted, and the rest of the numbers, if they are same from the next month onwards, they are staying constant. You guys can see this, right? So the first time you got a whatever red color, it becomes blue after that, and again the next hiring has become 2, and so that is in like whatever red color, and then it comes back to blue, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Okay. Again, this is a very sort of simple functionality, functionality in Excel. Let me just show you. I generally use a shortcut. The shortcut is Alt-O-D, okay, for conditional formatting. Okay, I think it is probably there right on the home at this point in time. Yeah, there you go, conditional formatting. So you can actually click on Manage Rules, and you get this one. So, and what you can do is, based on a condition, you can apply formatting to that particular cell. Okay. So here, the way to do it is something like this. I'll just hit edit, and what you can do is, there are various options here, but for now we will only restrict ourselves to use a formula. Okay. And the formula is something like this. It's basically saying, if the current number is equal to the previous number, okay, then do not do anything. It will just retain the original formatting, which is the yellow background and the blue color. Okay, but if it is different, apply this additional formatting, which is that specific color. Okay, the reddish color. Okay, and when you do this, what happens is, as long as the previous cell is same, okay, then it will just continue the previous formatting or the original formatting. And whenever in our case number only goes up, because of that, if the number goes up, then you'll get different formatting. Okay, so I'll just show that to you again over here. So for example, I put 1 here, and then you'll have that 1 carried forward. Let's say if this becomes 2, then you will have an additional whatever the higher is getting highlighted. Okay na?
Chaitanya, on
Yeah.
the same topic, like how the conditional formatting rule is knowing that the previous cell is on the horizontal side, not on the vertical side.
Okay, that's excellent. So basically, if you look at the formula, okay, so see the way Excel works is, I'll just cover one additional concept, and we'll come back to this one. Okay, this is very related to that. Okay, so one of the key functions of Excel is, because this is a spreadsheet, right? So let's say I type in saying equals this. Okay, then when I copy, okay, I can sort of paste this, but even though I pointed to H93, the others will keep changing the formula. I only did a copy paste, right? But it changes the formula. So for example, here you have H93, the next one becomes automatically I93. So the next one becomes automatically it becomes J93, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there is one other functionality here, which is, so you hit F2, you get the formula, right? And then you hit F4. F4 is basically for anchor it. Okay, that whatever $H and $93. If you anchor that, then what it means is, even if you copy paste, it will remain the same. Okay, so for example, when I just copy paste this one, everything now refers to H93 and not like a sliding kind of a formula. Got it, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So there is one additional thing I want to cover here. So you can also just anchor only for the column.
Yeah.
when you do an anchor just for the column, what happens is when I copy paste, in this case, the effect is same because we have not changed the row. We have just changed only the column. So the H remains the same even though you copy paste. Are you guys following?
Yes.
Okay. So now, for example, I can hit F4 and it will keep iterating, by the way. And let's say for 93, now if I do a copy paste, what happens is it will keep changing the column, okay? But if I change the row, if I copy paste to another row, the row number will remain constant.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, with these, there are a lot of variations that are possible in the formulas, and it will make many things possible. Okay, we'll come back and look at that. It's clear, na? So basically,
Yes.
some key things to take away: F2 for formula, and once you get into the formula, you can keep hitting F4 for a specific range, and it'll keep changing the dollars. You see, first for the both column and row, and then just for row, then for column, and then nothing. Okay. Now, let's come back to this, what we just saw. So, where is that? Here. Okay, so, here, now let's look at that and see. So basically, so the formula that's getting affected is something else. First is this one. This is the formula actually. See what it applies to. Let me just go into this. So basically, this is the following. So there is certain range that it applies to, okay, and there is a formula that's being used, okay. So here the formula that's used is F21 is not equal to E21. So the current whatever is the cell, if it is not equal to the immediate previous one, then apply this particular formatting is what it says. Okay. Now let me actually let me show you the conditional formatting for the next one. Okay. Now this one is so this one says F and E, right? And I'll also show this here. Also it says F and E, but mind that it does not have the dollar symbol. So the way Excel interprets this is that basically I think when it got done, right, at that point in time it actually shows F and E 21. Okay, it does not actually say the current cell is actually 31, but it doesn't say 31. Okay, so the way it interprets is it interprets it as this cell is not equal to the previous cell. Okay, and it sort of uses that across. Okay, so let me just show that to you very quickly. So let me do this. Okay, so let's say we'll just use the same sort of formatting, right? Let's say we have all of this, and we have 1, 2, and then we have, let's say 2, 2, 2, 2, etc. Okay, and so look at how I'm selecting the whole range, and I will do whatever Alt OD, okay, and sort of a new rule. Would like to use a formula. So equals this is F110 is not equal to E110. Okay, so this is the formula that I have applied, and the format is this. Let's say I would like we'll just go with the same formatting. Okay, this is font, and where's the color? This one, and I'll just select this. Okay, so this one. All right, and then click OK, and then click OK. All right, now apply. So if you apply, if you look at it, see it has applied that to all of the range. Okay, not just one single cell. They applied to all of the range. And if you look at the formatting, the conditional formatting here also, see I have selected now K111. Okay, but the formula still says F110 not equal to E110. Okay, but it applies that to all of the range.
Got it.
Okay, so in here I think conditional formatting is one area. Typically what I have seen is that I would just do a bit of an experimentation and find out what is working, and based on that I make it work. Okay, but the formula there is a little different from how formulas apply in the rest of the spreadsheet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So at this point in time, so I think we are at 9:47. So I would pause right now. Okay. And I think I more or less covered what I wanted to cover, except for VLOOKUP. So we will cover that next time. And we'll get into some other lookup functions also. We'll also get into conditional formatting in more detail next time. Okay, so there are some very interesting ways that you can use conditional formatting. And so conditional formatting is relevant, for users because, they want it to be formatted and, they want it to be highlighted in a specific way. I think it will be interesting. We will see. Okay. All right. Any questions?